Let's get this out of the way before we start this.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, and black, y'all. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched Afro Samurai with my homie Tyler a few years ago, she asked me how I liked it. And all I said was, it was raw, and it was actually pretty funny. This is back when I first started watching anime again, so I didn't really have the capacity to appreciate it like I should have. Then I watched it again with my homie Temaje and my homie Matthew, either last year or the year before that. And I was like, yo, this is way better than I remember it being. And now fast forward to now, and I just watched it for the third time, and this might sound crazy to say, but Afro Samurai is easily one of the best anime of all time. I haven't seen any anime put on for the culture like Afro Samurai has. This show has so much personality in it, and I haven't seen an anime come close to having the identity just like this one. It's truly one of a kind. It's absurd how much story content and how many gorgeous fight scenes are packed into a mere 5 episodes. Like, that's absurd considering that a lot of anime have a hard time fitting a lot of content into 12. There's so much shit to talk about, so pull up a chair, let's chop it up. Today we're going to be talking about the black anime, Afro Samurai. But before we get into it, as always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more anime analysis and review videos just like this one. Also hit the notification bell to know when I post in the future. So, you know how we do things around here. First, we start off with the story. So the story in Afro Samurai is simple, but it's extremely effective in its execution. Our story follows my nigga Afro. The story starts off with Kid Afro watching his father fight the number 2 since he was the current number 1. His dad ends up getting killed right in front of him and losing the fight, making Justice the new number 1. He takes a number 2 headband for himself and goes on this long journey to get revenge for his father and to become number 1. The way they did this story was really great. So you would think in 5 episodes shit will eventually feel like extremely rushed, right? But that's not the case here. Yeah, things move very fast in this anime, but it never got to the point where I felt like the fast pace is ruining the story. Actually, I kind of like how they did it. They keep things pretty vague and mysterious when it comes to Afro so they can give us the background information when it's needed. There's a lot of goated-ass moments in this show, so I'm gonna try my best to talk about them, so let's get into it. So, boom. First fight in, we see Afro surrounded by 20 niggas, all trying to take that number 2 headband from him. They all trying to take it from him. From the untrained anime watcher eyes I had before years ago, I wondered if he was gonna get out of this alive. I mean, that's reasonable, right? It's 1v20. It's a pretty fair thing to think, right? Now that I'm an experienced anime watcher, I noticed that before the fight even started, Afro was already using the classic technique. The technique that I'm referring to is the ancient I'm that nigga stance. The ancient I'm that nigga stance is a technique simply used to flex your dominance without doing anything. You see multiple iterations of the I'm that nigga stance. Legend says Michael Jackson once said fuck it at a concert and used this technique to make numerous bitches fall out. You probably seen one of your homies pull up this technique after getting the and-1 during a game of basketball. We've also seen this technique get used in SpongeBob after Squidward broke that tent. Once I seen this stance, I knew that the fight was already over, and boy was it. This nigga Afro is disgusting. One of the dudes fired a bullet at folks. He cut it into like 6 pieces, smooth as hell, and killed like 6 dudes by him. We are 2 seconds into the fight, and the remaining 14 niggas are already nervous as hell. The one that fired a bullet was like, hey yo, what the fuck? But Afro wasn't done. He treated these niggas like vegetables on a hibachi grill. He treated these niggas like ox treat ground beef. He treated them like Trunk treated Mega Freezer. Bro, he did that one dude so filthy, gang. He stabbed folks in the neck with the sheath of his sword. Nah, that is crazy. Afro could damn near stab you with a rubber ducky if you're not careful, gang. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He did that, smoked the rest of them, and then he put the sword back in the sheath while it was still in his neck. We love the disrespect. It's crazy, but we appreciate it on this side. This fight set the tone for the show. Side note, Brother 5, aka Brother Foot Crust, really nasty as hell. He really single-footedly added snow to the forecast. Shit was honestly despicable. When Afro pulled up to that bar, cool as hell like it wasn't shit. Everybody in that bar talking about, I'm ready to take that headband. As soon as he stepped in, it got mad quiet. One buddy tried to step up, but Afro swiftly let him know that he did not know the frame data and told his ass go right back to the lab. After they seen that, seemed like it wasn't any more issues going around because he walked out that hole just fine. I just want to talk about the next dude he fault's creative class that he grabbed when he grabbed his loadout. Gang, in all seriousness, where the hell did you find this? Folks got a crossbow with a switch, extended mags, an underbarrel grenade launcher attachment, loaded with a Bluetooth speaker, mid dispenser, and a bidet on that joint. This is the oddest weapon combination I've ever seen in the anime, but it actually did some damage. Shout out to bro, he knew something that I didn't. Afro isn't just a fighter too. He's a master persuader. Old Suru was really planning on killing folks until she got her back broken. Afro hit her with that, ooh, And made her rethink her whole plan, dog. Too bad it ain't the only power pole she got hit with. For RP though, Suru showed it was bad as hell. The fight with Afro Droid was fire too. Naturally, the swordsmanship was gonna be raw because it's literally his swordsmanship they got from his memory. But it's raw how Afro actually ended up winning. He actually backed off his own stubbornness for a bit and listened to what his master taught him, and he corrected his mistakes mid-fight and started to strike without thinking. It took a while though, cause folks, Afro Droid was really not trying to stay down. Samuel Jackson had a funny ass line during the last part when that Nader popped out of folks' chest. He was like, "Now we done came all the way to look down the barrel of that shit." Nigga, I was crying. Every time folks opened his mouth, it was hilarious. I'm so glad he was a part of this. The Gino versus Afro fight is arguably better than the last fight in the show. It's just super emotional. Like, it was super emotional seeing what happened to their master and how all their friends died while fighting one another, even though at a point in the past, they were like brothers. This was low-key sad as hell, probably one of my favorite anime moments ever now. Afro let go of my homie during this fight too, which was also a pretty sad-ass scene as well. I know I'm not supposed to talk about this until another section, but the music in this fight is nothing short of incredible. It matched the vibe of the fight so well, and I genuinely didn't know if I should tear up or rock my head, or shit, both. The music artist in me really appreciated how much care was put into this. The whole Gino versus Afro sequence was fire. From the fight to the backstory, everything about it was on point. The last fight against Justice was amazing as well. This was definitely the epic battle that we deserve. Osuru's comb, like saving Afro, was such a raw detail that I missed in my first two watches. The first time that I watched this, I genuinely thought Afro just got smoked when that spike went through his hair. I was like, damn, roll credits, I guess. But seeing him get off that spike and give folks the Mecha Freezer treatment was hype as hell. I know that shit hurt though. That spike split through all them naps and that new growth. Afro didn't show it, but I know he tender-headed as a bitch. Seeing them tease another Gino fight definitely made me smile a decent amount too. I hope to see that in the movie when I watch it tomorrow. Seeing him covered in the bands was raw as hell too, showing that he was like dead ass about his revenge. In all seriousness though, Afro Samurai did some shit that even some longer anime can't even seem to do, and they did it in 5 episodes. They gave us a cohesive storyline and a bunch of beautiful looking action for our troubles. Something like this will be unheard of nowadays. And it's crazy to think about that this came out in like 2007, bro. That's really insane. Now let's move on to characters and character interactions. Afro Samurai really gave people the blueprint for black characters. I'm not gonna lie, Afro Samurai gave us 2 of my favorite anime characters of all time. So I'm really excited to talk about the characters in this. Afro is definitely one of the best, if not the best, black character ever. I just found out that Samuel Jackson voiced him too. And that's really insane to me, because him and, I'm gonna just call other folks Samuel. Samuel and Afro don't sound nothing alike. He's a man of few words, but man, he done been through some shit for real. It's hard to see because he has it under this cool ass persona that he has, but under all that real nigganess, bro is hurting for real. He deals with a bunch of guilt. First off, he's still hurting from watching his dad die right in front of him. That event turned him into a cold-blooded murderer who's dead set on revenge. So dead set on revenge to the point where he was willing to let his loved ones die to get his revenge. And he's been living with that reality every day, and you don't see it. Shit, one of his last opponents was his brother growing up. That same brother that blamed him for all the bad stuff that happened. That's some heavy shit to deal with. He's been carrying this stuff since he was a shorty. I mean, look at, he even carried his dead dad's head around him when he was a little kid. Like, he was hurting, bro. Bro, think about it. Afro even created a friend to help keep him company, to help him cope with all the trauma that he was dealing with. My boy Samuel wasn't even a real person, and he had to deal with letting him go, probably making him feel even worse, which is insane. And I think a lot of black men are going to resonate with this, because we do the same thing. It's super unhealthy, and it deteriorates our mental state over time to the point where at any moment people don't see us, we could break down. But just like Afro, we got to be strong and make sure people don't see anything that could be used against us. That's how we think. Afro's mental fortitude is reminiscent of a lot of niggas like me, and that's definitely one of the reasons why I love him so much. He's such a good character. Although he wasn't an actual person, my boy Samuel was funny as hell. Bro, every time folks said something, it was nothing short of hilarious. That RPG line will forever be funny to me when I hear it.
Hey, that a motherfucking RPG? You got a motherfucking RPG? A RPG in a motherfucking backpack?
Him and Afro were the perfect pairing gang if you think about it. Afro is a superhuman nigga that does a lot of stuff that he's simply just not supposed to do. He defies all kind of logic. And Samuel is literally the exact opposite. He's super logical, and he really be trying to respectfully get the fuck on somewhere. And I completely understand. I would too. I love the comic relief that he brings to the show. I still think the show would be dope without it, but I'm so glad it's here because he lightened the moves so easily. And whoever thought Samuel L. Jackson was the one to cast deserves a damn raise because, man, he was perfect on this. He was such a good addition to the show. I like Gino and Osuru too. They have some really tragic stories, and they basically showed the two completely different routes to take when it came to dealing with Afro. Osuru actually saw the good in Afro because it does actually exist. It's actually there. He was just dead set on his revenge mission. Gino said, yeah, forget all that. He ruined our lives. He destroyed our home. He killed our friends and our master, and he wants to kill him. Just plain and simple. The same thing he told Afro to stop pursuing, he ended up pursuing the same thing himself. But I like how Afro Samurai depicts that both sides ended up bad. They definitely added to his guilt too. I really like what they did with both of them. We didn't get a lot of notable characters, but man, we really got some really good ones that will be remembered forever fondly. Let's move on to looks, presentation, and music. Gang, this show looks so good, and the art style is so unique too. Haven't seen a show like it yet. The mostly grayscale style with certain colors showing up in the frame is just a cool look, like the blood and like fluids and like just some background stuff sometimes. That looks really cool when it's just that's the only color in the frame. It's such a good idea. And the animation, shit, my God, it's fire. It is crazy good. Bro, once again, this came out in 2007. Bro, this looks better than most modern anime, bro. That is really crazy to me. Shout out to Gonzo, gang. You did an amazing job on this, seriously. This still holds up 16 years later. Think about that. And don't even get me started on the music, bro. RZA is really that nigga, dog. The hip-hop music and fight scenes has always worked out. Like, we've seen it from the Boondocks that it worked. But it's different in Afro Samurai. It's so difficult not to nod your head to the beat while the fight's going on. Like, the music is so raw in this. That track when he was fighting Gino was gorgeous, man. It almost made me cry. I'm not gonna lie to you, folks. And I'm gonna find it on Spotify if I can, for sure. I'm gonna need that fight song for the Afro Droid fight too. The music in anime can add so much character to a show, and a lot of anime don't even take advantage of it, but I'm so glad they let RZA do this because, man, it would not be the same without the music choices made in this. Like I said earlier, bro, it's safe to say that Afro Samurai is one of the best anime of all time. It's cool to see black influence in anime, and I hope we get to see more shows that go in this direction, especially if they end up even being remotely close to as good as this. Afro Samurai is a nasty show. Like, it ain't no reason for this to be still this good in 2023. Like, it's really timeless type shit. I'm not gonna lie, you need to go watch this right now if you haven't. I haven't watched the movie yet, so you know what that means. Possibly look out for that video the day after this one drops. Afro Samurai is really one of one, and I'm really glad I decided to give this another watch. I truly see how great it is now, and you need to go watch it so you can truly see how great this is too. But that's all for me, man. As always, man, have a great day. Love y'all. Peace. And montage time.
Of the road. Afro Samurai.
Nothing personal. It's just revenge.
Tell you, I don't know if it's your natural pheromones or you need a shower. Assassins are coming at us like flies on hot shit.
Wake up! Oh, sleepyhead. Hey, Gino, you should come look at this.
If you have the number one, you're like a god. Nobody can touch you.
Well, fine. Don't get your lanky ass killed in. But don't say I ain't warn you. Later.
If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. I've done this for 40 shows now. So if you want any other videos like this, you can click right here at the top. There's a full playlist right there for you. Have a great day, man. Love y'all.